This is Ray Mooney's Wild World of Wet Shaving. Let's begin. All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome back. This is Ray Mooney. Welcome back to the podcast. Today, I'm really thrilled to welcome a true icon in the wet shaving industry, perhaps the busiest man in the hobby, Mr. Rod Lovan. Rod, welcome.
Thanks for having me, Ray. Pleasure to be here.
Fantastic. Did I pronounce your family name okay? Lovan?
It's
Lovan?
actually pronounced Lovin', but I'm used
Lovan?
to every variation you can think of it because most people don't want to say Lovin'.
Right. Fair enough. Well, I live in French Canada, so my instinct is to pronounce it in French. Lovan. Is it French origins?
I apparently there are French origin Lovin'. I'd have no clue if that's where we came from or not. We've
Okay.
traced our family back to about the 1600s, and that's as far as I've been able to go.
Wow. That's impressive nonetheless. So I'll ask, how did this all start? What's the origin story? I actually did a bit of research and I read somewhere that you named your company after a city in Scotland.
Correct. So
Okay.
Mandy and I took a delayed honeymoon in 2011 to Scotland, and Stirling was probably our favorite place there.
Nice.
We spent an entire day at Stirling Castle. We spent a good amount of time in the town as well, and we were up on top of the William Wallace Monument in Stirling, overlooking Stirling Bridge and the actual town of Stirling itself. Um, we noticed that there were shepherds out there. Everything's just green and beautiful. It's one of the most beautiful places I've ever been in my life. But we noticed that shepherds were literally just moving their sheep around the outside of the town,
Yeah.
and they're just munching on grass, keeping everything trim and things like that. And we kind of got the idea while we were sitting there on top of the national monument that, hey, we should get sheep when we get home, and we can start raising them for wool, meat. And we, just out of nowhere, I don't remember if it was me or Mandy one, said that we could use the fat to make soap. And
Interesting.
it just kind of clicked. It's like, hey, that's a great idea. Um, so when we were in the airport on the way home, I ordered some soap making equipment and a bunch of
Wow.
oils and started doing research. And within a week of us returning from Scotland, we made our first batch of bath soap.
Okay.
And it's just from there, it's just kind of taken off. At the time I was still on active duty in the Army, and I didn't have any real thought that this would ever become a career. I fully intended at the time that I was going to stay into the Army and retire out of that. And this would just be a hobby and something that we could do to make extra money and keep us busy. And
Sure.
when I decided I was done being in the Army, we thought we would give this as a try as an actual business rather than just a hobby, and see if we could make it work. And so, I mean, that's been be 15 years this
Wow.
October since we were in Stirling.
That's
So
fantastic.
it's come a long way.
It's working, clearly. Congrats on 15 years. That's remarkable.
Thank you.
Was soap making, that sort of thing, born from a love of shaving already? Like, were you involved in wet shaving? Was that a thing for you before
So
Sterling?
I had started wet shaving in about a year earlier when I was in
Okay.
Iraq. A
Ah,
friend of mine introduced me to it, and I used to get really bad razor bumps and razor burn having to shave every day and then go do physical training.
right.
So he introduced this to me as a way to help alleviate that. And it took a while for me to get the hang of it. Truthfully, I sucked at building a lather at first. I cut myself pretty frequently. Um, but I stuck with it, and within a month it was second nature. And now I most times I shave in the shower without a mirror, just because I know the bumps on my head and the bumps on my face
Sure.
well enough that it's second nature to me now. And it doesn't, you know, I I see a lot of folks that are like, oh, it takes me 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes, whatever to shave. I build a lather and I've got my shave done in about 3 minutes. I mean,
Wow. Okay.
it's, it's just fast now. It's just something I do. It's normal.
Maximized on the efficiency of it. Yeah, that's great. How long have you been a member of the wet shaving community online and stuff? I know that you're sort of an active member.
We started pretty quickly.
Yeah,
When we, when we first moved into shave soap in 2012, I found sites like Badger and Blade and
sure.
the Shaved In, which I is no longer there. And there's one more, Shave Nook, maybe. But it was one of the original wet shaving websites, and I was on those three a lot, gathering ideas for scents, gathering ideas for what people liked their lather to be like. Because at that time, there weren't a lot of options. There was Tabak, Prorezo, and Mitchell's Wool Fat, Arco, Williams, the original that had been around forever. And so, artisan wet shaving really hadn't taken off at that point. So it was kind of a, I don't know, it was a kind of trial by fire type deal where
Right.
we got on the internet and we just continually look for ways to get our name out there, but continually look for get for feedback from people who were already in the hobby
Sure.
so that we could try to improve our product.
Okay. Amazing. So I mean, one could say you were among the first or one of the pioneers starting the artisan soap movement.
Yeah, the only real big name that I could think of, I mean, there was Mama Bear soaps, there was Mike's Naturals, and
Right.
I'm probably leaving out one or two others, but um, of the ones that are really big now and really well known, I think us and Barrister and Man and Katie's Bubbles were about the first.
Interesting. Okay. So yeah, a true pioneer. So I've asked this question before with other interviews. Talk about the golden age of wet shaving. Are we past it? Are we yet to hit it? Being one of the original sort of pioneers of the artisan shave soap. What do you think?
Um, at a time, I thought we were past it.
Yeah.
I don't think we are anymore. I think um, I think there's I still think there's room for growth because we're not even a fraction of a percent of the actual shaving market.
Right.
Just for males, I mean, not even talking about women,
Sure.
um, not even a fraction of men shavers are wet shavers. I mean, it's
Right.
just we're still so small compared to Gillette, Schick, and guys like that.
Right.
Harry's Razors, Dollar Shave Club, things like that. Um, so there's absolutely room. There's still room for growth. I think it's hard getting people to get past that 2, 3, 4 week learning curve where,
Right.
you know, it's so much easier to just push a button on a can and rub it on my face and then use a multi-blade cartridge. Whereas, once you've got past that learning curve, I tell anybody you can get as good or better a shave. I mean, honestly, you're going to get a better shave
A
if you're
better
doing it
shave.
right,
Sure.
but um, you're going to actually enjoy it again in most cases,
Right.
rather than it becoming a chore.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of does somebody come along that has the capital to advertise and get it out there, you know, to the masses? Because I can't, Bear Stern Man can't, Katie's Bubbles can't.
Sure.
They're none of us are big enough that we can afford a TV ad. We can't
Right.
afford, a spread in GQ or Maxim. That's just not how we're not big enough for anything like that. So does someone come along and get into this space and do that for us, or do we continue to plod along and just show microscopic growth over the
Right.
years, and but we continue to survive.
Interesting. Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I'm trying to do my part to spread the gospel, as it were, with my to my five listeners out there. thanks for listening. But that's it. It's a question of being engaged and involved in the community, I think. And that sort of hopefully helps it snowball a bit, grow a bit, right?
That's the hope. It really
Maybe.
is.
Are you a collector though? Because, for myself, I got into it and then I got heavy into it and bought every soap and bought, many razors and too many brushes, etc.
So the majority of my stash is Stirling soap.
Is it
I've
okay?
got I've got a good amount of Barrister and Man soaps that I've collected over the years. I've always got stuff from Katie's Bubbles because Chris and I we consider, we always get right sitting right next to him at the Maggers meetup, so we've got
Sure.
to be really good friends with him, and I'm always getting soap from him. And um, I've got a handful of Noble Otter products. I've got a handful of um, this is terrible. Can't fell out in Lubbock, Texas. Um, makes good soap, but I've got a handful of his soaps from when he first came out.
Okay.
But I am a collector. I've probably got 20 vintage straight razors.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I've got at least a dozen double edge razors, um, 30 brushes that
Wow.
I've collected over
Okay.
the years, and I've got enough. I mean, the other part is I collect fragrances as well because we do a lot of dupes,
Yes.
so I'm always buying new fragrances because I want whatever that we have. When we go to a fragrance company, I say, hey, I want, I want to do a soap based on, green Irish tweed, for example. That's one
Sure.
we just reformulated because we lost our supplier for it. I've got an actual bottle of green Irish tweed, and we send them an ounce out of that, and that's
Oh, for
what's
real? Okay.
used
Right.
to uh to craft the fragrance so that we can get as close as possible and hopefully put out something that people that actually own these fragrances, maybe that it's no, it's not as good as a $300 bottle of green Irish
Wow.
tweed, but at least you smell it and you think, hey,
That is
that's what this is based on.
sure. Well, makes me think of probably one of your more popular scents. Executive Man is, not exact, but very, very almost iconic in its own right, in my opinion, at least.
Yeah.
Similar to what you just did with I Rich Moose too. So I was going to
Correct.
ask, how do you go about sort of finding that blend or that formula? But you just answered that for me. So that's very interesting.
A lot of times, I mean, that they're a lot of the companies that we've worked with in the past, and I've got most of my fragrance down to about three or four companies that I really trust now. But the two that really do formulation for me, they have a team of perfumers that if I say if they send me something, well, I mean, like um, the Green Irish Tweed when we were looking into to have that redone
Yeah,
when we lost our original supplier, they sent me their versions of it, and I had the real thing here, and I'm like, no, I mean, this is not close enough. I'm sorry. So we sent them a new one, and they have their perfumers work on it, trying to get it closer.
yeah,
And then worst case scenario, you pay them to do gas chromatography testing, and
sure.
it will tell you what's in it, and then they have a blueprint to go off of to say,
Right.
hey, this, and they're able to get it a lot closer that way.
Okay. Interesting. Do you have a favorite scent in all of that? Is there something, special
Um,
to you?
my scent varies based on what day you ask me.
Okay, that's fair.
Um, right now, I've been using Sterling Clubman the most because even though we failed to make it as close to the Peanut Clubman as we had originally hoped,
Yeah.
in its own right, I really like it, and it's what I've been wearing most often here lately. But a week from now, it'll be
It'll
something
change.
different,
Fair
and
enough.
honestly, I gravitate though towards our originals like Ben Franklin, Gatlinburg, Glastonbury,
Yeah.
stuff like stuff that I actually created myself.
Okay.
Sterling Gentleman, Boat Drinks. Boat Drinks is probably Boat Drinks and Sterling Gentleman, but Boat Drinks especially is the scent that I'm probably the most proud of because it was it was born of necessity. I was in the middle of a winter where I was feeling cabin fever. It was just rainy and cold, but not cold enough to snow, just nasty.
Yeah.
And I wanted to work on a scent that would take me away from all that. And boat drinks did it, and it's remained one of my favorite scents.
Okay. Interesting. I'm a huge fan of your Glastonbury.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite
That
scents.
was actually a customer request.
Oh, no kidding. Okay.
Yeah. That's we he and I came up with the name with it together, but that he I can't remember the exact conversation, but he was wanting something with patchouli along those lines for a music festival, and that's where the
Sure.
name Glastonbury comes from the big music
The
festival
music
in the
festival in
UK.
England. Yeah, that sort of hits it right on the nose. That's awesome. And a good backstory too. Do you have a favorite razor in all of your collection?
Yeah, it's I just tooting my own horn, but the Stirling hyper aggressive.
Okay.
It's unfortunately not available right now because the cost of getting it machined is just we're known for good value, and I don't
Sure.
like selling a razor that expensive.
Fair enough.
Um, but the razor was literally designed based on my preferences
For
for
hyper
super
aggressive.
high blade gap,
Yeah,
and super super high blade exposure.
sure.
And the blade angle is perfect for the way I shave because I don't come straight down off my face. I've usually got the handle slightly angled out from my face,
Interesting.
and I'm coming down almost. It's basically the Sterling Hyper Aggressive is a double-edged warm form of a shavette.
Right. Well, I was going to ask
But
actually because I've most recently gotten into straight razors as well. And I find now I look for, when I shave with a DE, I look for a more aggressive razor, maybe as a result of shaving with just an open blade. I don't know if that was
if you can shave with the straight, I mean it's kind of one of those things. I mean, I get it. It's hard to go back to a mild razor that takes three passes to get a
right.
close shave with.
That's it.
And that was the other thing with the hyper aggressive. It was designed for me because I don't like doing a three pass shave. I'll do a one pass with buffing at most, and
Sure.
I like to be able to go in one pass and have it all knocked off.
Right. And I imagine you shave your head as well. Just looking at you
Yes.
from one bald man
Yep.
to another. Yeah. Is there a story behind, to me, the iconic green tubs and containers that you use for, I think, the majority of your products?
Sterling is so green and beautiful.
Okay. Yeah.
The
Perfect.
grass is just absolutely green, and we knew that at the time when we were first starting when we so we didn't move over to jars when we first started making shave soap. We only did refill pucks
Oh, really? Okay.
and sample pucks. We didn't move into jars until late 2015, and at that point most people were using the 100 millimeter round jars from Parkway or from Colt Plastics that
Yeah.
you see on most brands today. And I wanted, in addition to the Sterling green, the green from Sterling the town, we wanted our jars to stand out. So what we
Right.
did is we went to Parkway and we asked what would be the minimum order for you to do a custom color for us, and we
Oh,
took out a small loan so that we could actually, because at that time in 2015 we were still tiny.
okay.
Um, so we had to take out a small loan to meet the minimum order quantity to get
Right.
enough jars that Parkway would do them in the green color that we wanted. And now it's worked. Worked literally how I dreamed. When people post their shave of the day photos, or especially like this, hey, here's my bathroom, here's my shave den.
Yeah.
You can pick Sterling out
You sure
like that.
can. Oh, yeah. You
And
know,
so
actually,
go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say, as an anecdote, I was just in New York City and visited Pasteur's pharmacy, of course, while there. And the wall of Sterling products really popped out in comparison to everything else. So not only in a shave den, but also in a retail environment.
That's
It
awesome.
works. Yeah.
visiting Leon and the guys at Pasteur is definitely very high on my list of places I need to go.
I think you'll be unimpressed at how tight it is. There's not a lot of room to maneuver, but they have
From what
product.
I've heard, yeah, it's extremely cramped, like you would expect. But
Yeah,
just to be carried in an iconic place in the middle of New York is really cool. I mean,
that's it.
that's one of those things that I tell people. It's like that is it's really neat to me.
Absolutely. So I guess top of the chain up in Canada is not doesn't hold the same weight.
No, I would love to. I would love to go up there and meet Carm. It's just with three young boys,
Of course.
taking trips
And
is
from experience, St. Catharines, Ontario is nothing like New York City. New York City's way better, I have to say. Just saying. At a certain point, you guys moved from Texas to Arkansas, right? Where you are
yes.
now? Okay. Any reason that happened or just life?
We got out. I got out of the army.
Uh,
My wife lost her job due to defense budget cuts, and
Okay.
so Sterling was our only. It was our sole source of income,
Right.
and we had just had our first child in 2012, and we were going to be able to make a run at making the company our an actual legitimate business and a true source of income. We knew that we were going to need to rely on family to help watch our son while we were making
Sure.
shipping orders and things like that. So we moved to the town where my older sister lived because we
Ah,
knew that
okay.
my mother would be moving there within a year as well when she retired from teaching.
Okay.
So we stayed there and worked on growing the company where we had the support of family.
Got it. That makes a lot of sense. And
Excuse me.
now, from what I understand or from what I've read, it's a small empire in Arkansas. There's soap, there's coffee, there's accessories, there's a farm. What's next?
So
Or what's next? As if that's not enough, right?
right now we're trying to grow the farm. I would love our original intent when we got sheep
Yeah.
was to be able to when we slaughtered them or we to be able to render the fat and use that in our soaps. And
Okay.
we have before as a backup, but right now I've only got about 60 sheep and once they are done giving birth for this spring by April, that'll be over 100. But truthfully, as much sheep soap as I would love to sell, I need about twice that much
Really?
um, on a yearly basis. Um, but we're also trying to, as we can afford it, bring on more cows and things like that. And so we are trying to grow our farm. We've just planted a bunch of pecan trees, peach trees, pomegranate, apple, plum, fig, literally everything you can think of on the
Amazing.
farm here, trying to turn this place into something like I'd like to actually put up a cabin on our property and turn it into an agritourism type thing where you can come
Wow.
in and buy some coffee from Stirling Roastery, get some soap from Stirling Soap or whatever,
Yeah.
and then you stay out on our farm and you can eat fruit and vegetables grown directly here, have a burger, steak, or whatever from literally from our farm
Yeah.
here.
Oh, that's amazing. That would be great. I would love to. It's a good reason to visit Paris, Arkansas.
Hopefully it becomes that way at some point.
Yeah. When you started this coffee thing, were you someone who was already into coffee? I see that in the shave community that I sort of frequent, coffee seems to be a very big thing, as well as shaving, of course.
Well, yeah, I mean, we assumed maybe maybe we got ahead of ourselves, but we assume that if you're the type of person that you're not using a can of Barbasol and a Bic razor, if you're doing wet shaving, you probably do appreciate finer things. You probably do appreciate good coffee
Sure.
rather than drinking the floor scrapings that are you're finding in a grocery store.
Right.
So Mandy and I both love coffee. I'm a snob when it comes to coffee. So we thought we would try our hand at that. So we took the Specialty Coffee Association's uh, training through in through Mill City Roasters in Minneapolis, Minnesota. We spent some time up there. Then that's actually who we bought a roaster from as well,
Oh,
and we've learned mainly Mandy because she's the one who's continued to roast. I went through the training, so I know what to do,
yeah,
but she's the ones who she's got thousands of batches of coffee under her belt for roasting, and she's world class at what she does at this point.
amazing. Okay.
Um, and so we thought that we would be able to market the coffee to our customers, but what we didn't count on was how skeptical that people would be that the people they buy soap from could be good at doing coffee as well.
For real. No kidding.
And so while we do have a lot of customers, I mean, we have a pretty good conversion rate. If we can get someone to try our coffee, most of the time they stick with it. They're like,
Yeah,
"Oh, this is great coffee." But it's just, getting them over that initial skepticism, um, and getting them to buy a bag and try it.
sure. That's all it takes. I mean, I've tried some of your coffee. It's a little less obvious to get it up here in Canada, especially with the exchange rate and such. But the Tanzania that I've tried was really fantastic.
Thank
So
you.
I can't recommend it enough to my five listeners, that is, of course, you know. Um, how many cents does Sterling have going at any particular time? You seem to have a massive catalog.
Usually around 50.
Okay,
And I don't know how long it's been, probably close to a decade now. We realized that um, we can't keep everything in stock all the time.
sure.
It just doesn't work that way, and it puts undue pressure on us. I mean, honestly, we keep too many soaps in stock year round as it is,
Okay,
but we keep things seasonally now. So her seasonal stuff usually is on the website for 90 days. Some of the better sellers will stay on for, 100 to 120.
okay,
Um, but usually, a scent comes on, and by well, okay, so it might be on the website a little longer, but after 90 days, we stop making it.
right.
And then what's on the website, it can sell out. And then if it's not sold out by two seasonal releases later, it gets removed from the website anyway. And then we look at the numbers at the end of the year and decide, does this sit, does it come back this year, or do we go ahead and vault it for a few years and replace it with something else? But all told, we've got over 100 cents that we've released in our lifetime.
Wow, that's quite impressive. And of those, how many are original scents? Do you know offhand?
Offhand, it's a
Roughly.
couple
Well,
of
roughly.
it's roughly 2 dozen, I think,
Okay,
and I'd like to actually take that a little higher, and that's not counting like just something like bergamot lavender that's just two
right,
essential oils added together, or orange chill, which is just orange essential oil and menthol,
right.
but actual scents that I've sat down and worked on and um, spent time crafting a formula from multiple notes.
Sure.
It's just at what we charge to come out with the original scents don't sell as well as the dupes because number one, I'm not the world's greatest perfumer. I think I'm underrated at that aspect, but I'm obviously not working for the House of Creed or Tom Ford or
Right.
someone like that. So, and it's a lot easier to sell someone a soap that smells like a high-end cologne that they already
That's
own.
something they know. Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
than to get them to try Glastonbury, which is, admittedly a very unique and niche scent.
Fair enough. And you have to love patchouli, I guess, as well, you know.
Yes.
No, and I guess it depends on how you approach it. Some people seek out these unique scents and are sort of bored by dupes or not enthused in any way by them. But I guess the mass majority can't think outside the box,
Yeah. I
maybe.
mean, we do the dupes because it gives me the consistent sales and the ability
Sure.
to try out some strange scents.
Right. Right.
I mean, like Texas on Fire, for example. I don't think there's anything anywhere on the market like it.
Like that. And
It's
it's
it's very unique.
right.
Um, and I mean, we've had it on the website for over a decade
Oh,
consistently
no
now.
kidding. Wow. Okay.
and it continues to sell very well. And we get just as many people emailing me that they hate it as we do that love it. So,
Well, but all attention is good attention, potentially. Or, all attention is good promotion or whatever, however the expression goes. So after all of that and making soap and, being in the industry as one of the premier artisan makers, is shaving still a thrill for you at all? I mean, I know you said you've gotten it down to 3 minutes in the shower, but nonetheless.
so when I have time, which hasn't been much frequently, I mean lately, but I still will take my time occasionally and do a straight razor shave.
Okay.
And I don't know, it's still it's one of those things at the end of it, I feel accomplished. I don't know,
Right.
it just something manly, something masculine about taking a straight razor, and especially if you can do it without when you come out without irritation or blood after
Yes,
a straight razor shave, it feels good.
it does. An absolute sense of accomplishment. I feel the same way that I don't butcher my face is a win each time.
Yeah.
You don't do your head with a straight razor, do you?
I tried it a handful of times
Have
and
you?
I gave up on it.
Yeah,
It
I haven't.
I mean, on the times where I can get it close or get it to where I'm not cutting myself, I don't feel like I'm getting a close enough shave. I mean, because you've got so much more adipose tissue. Your cheeks and your neck have, they've got more give. Whereas,
Of course.
you be like having a shaved head like me,
Yeah,
your skin on top of your skull is kind of thin and it's not as supple, and it's a lot easier to cut yourself trying to get a close shave.
sure. And there's lots of bleeding that goes on from the head as well,
Yes,
right? So
absolutely.
I have yet to work up the guts to try that, but I think about it all the time. So, I don't know that many people do, actually. But again, what do I know? Can you talk at all about, and it's a recent thing, you're now manufacturing for Barrister and Mann, which is very exciting. And that was, wonderful news to hear when it broke, the hot news in the wet shaving community. Is that something you can talk about, or is that,
Oh, absolutely. I
yeah,
mean, it was probably the biggest news in wet shaving in quite some time.
yes,
Um, we were we talked with Will for over a year,
okay.
actually well over a year before it actually happened, where we started making his soaps, and we were extremely nervous to say the least. But his very first order just got to their shipping warehouse today.
Oh, fantastic. Congratulations. That's great.
10:31 Central Time this morning. Excuse me.
It
It
arrived.
arrived at
That's
his,
great.
and so he should be restocked on a lot of soaps and aftershaves. And I'm looking forward to his next order because it gave us, we're still making the same size batches we were in 2012.
Oh, really? Okay.
With Will, he can make a batch of 300 shave soaps in one batch.
Right.
My batch is 37.
Oh, no kidding. Okay. Yeah, it's a scaling up to a
So while
large
I'm not,
degree.
I'm not able to do, because our soap formulas are very different. I'm not able to do this. I won't be able to do the size that he can, but it's given us the confidence to at least double our batch sizes, and it's going to make us a lot more efficient.
Okay.
And truthfully, I think we're going to be able to make Will's soaps a lot more efficient with my team that I have. I mean, because I took on an apprentice back in 2017
Yeah.
to start helping me make soap, and she's now my production manager, and she has, you know, soap makers working underneath her that have,
Fantastic.
7 8 years of experience now.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so we've got a team between me, her, and our other girls. We've got a team that's got over 30 something years of soap making
Sure.
experience
It's
between us.
incredible.
And so we're able to we were able to get his with him down here training us. We were able to get his processes down, just like that. And we're cranking them out as quick as we can. And because we do have a bigger team than Will did up in Cooperstown,
Yeah.
we're we're able to make his product more efficiently, and I think he'll actually um, be better in the long run having us make his soap for him.
That's great. That's great. Is the process very different from the way Stirling soap is made, for instance?
It's bigger equipment,
Okay.
and his soaps at pour are a lot more liquid than mine.
Interesting.
Um, and which allows him to, because they're more liquid, it allows him to make more. He can pour more jars at one time before the product starts to harden up, whereas mine are like super thick mashed potatoes when they come out.
Really?
And
Okay.
so by the time I'm done pouring that 37 jars, or now, at up to 70, the soap is starting to get really hard, and that's the end of it. There's no going any further.
Okay. Interesting.
But a lot of the process, there was a lot of overlap in it. So like I said, we were able to train up on his equipment really quick just because of the overlap and all
Sure.
the experience that we have doing it.
That's great. How does a Master's of Science degree play into all of this?
Well, so I went to graduate school for radiation health physics, and
Oh,
so it
interesting.
does nothing
It
for
does
me.
not,
Well,
right? Fair enough.
I had some chemistry. I had to go take organic 1 and 2 before I could start my master's program, and I did have radiation chemistry, but really, it's not anything that helps me in this. So,
If someone would have told you back then that you'd be, the head of a soap empire, now would you have believed them?
yes,
Yes.
because
Okay.
I actually, so while I completed my graduate school, I have 63 credits, and I've completed all my degree requirements. I never got the degree because I didn't go back and sit for my boards.
Okay.
So while I received my graduation notice, I never received the actual degree because I had a choice back in 2013. Do I want to go get a job at a nuclear plant being a health physicist, or do I want to bet on myself and work on Stirling? Because to sit for the boards, I was looking at 4 to 6 months of literally doing nothing but study,
Right.
and Sterling would have had to shut down.
Sure.
At that time, Mandy and I, we were, between us, spending, we would each spend 10 to 14 hours a day
Oh, no kidding.
making soap, packaging soap,
Wow.
labeling, and shipping orders. And so Sterling would have, by necessity, had to shut down if I was going to sit for my boards. And I thought, you know what? I want to work for myself for a while.
For sure.
So I dropped out of school and never looked back. And it was the best thing I've ever done, betting on myself, because I love what I do.
That's fantastic. I love hearing that. And, what a great success story. So good on you. Who
Thank
needs
you.
who needs boards and, nuclear power plants and any of that anyway, right? Before Barrister and Man, did you guys do any white label stuff? Like, have you produced soap for others?
We did for a couple of companies. But it was just very briefly, because at the time when we were trying to do it, we really weren't set up for it, and we couldn't get our pricing down to where the companies that we were making for had the margins that they needed.
Okay.
And now we're at the point where we can. I can, a lot of the items or the raw ingredients that Will uses, we already stock
Sure.
in good enough quantities that I can make the soap and make it efficiently enough that he can still make a profit,
Okay.
even paying me to do it for him.
Manufacture for him. Sure. So you think this will open up to a larger production field for other companies, or is that the hopes?
I hope so.
Yeah.
That's the hope. I would love to be able to make other products. We're really good at making lotions and body butters and things like that. We've got enough uh, perfumers ethanol to, we could make fragrances and bottle them for other people. I would absolutely love to get into contract manufacturing for other people, and so this was a step in the direction for that.
Absolutely. That's great. Well, here's hoping that that'll happen. You can expand the empire.
Thank you. I
Yeah,
really hope we can.
sure. This is a recurring question in most of my episodes. So I'll ask you, would you use another man's soap?
Shaving soap?
Yes, shaving soap.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. And that's in the context of, a lot of people get started, they buy used soap or someone will gift them a soap that's already used. So
Yeah, I
some
mean, I've
people,
I've opened some on the PIF tables before at
right.
meetups that you look in there, it's like that's kind of gross.
Yeah, no,
At
thank
least
you.
pull your hairs out of it before you put it on the table, dude.
Exactly.
But
That's
I'm
exactly
not
it.
going to use those. But
Right.
so if
So,
it's been taken care of and you can tell it came out of a clean bathroom, sure, absolutely,
okay. And I mean, at the end of the day, it is soap, right? So,
absolutely.
another recurring question. This is new for season two. Would you shave live online, like on social media, something like that?
I would and have. I haven't done one in
Oh,
a
you
few
have. Okay.
years. I'd probably need to rectify that. Mandy and I are hoping to actually start doing some new video series this summer, and I am planning to do some more live shaves, including the next one I want to have is a time shave, just to
Okay.
show people that you can get a good shave, a great shave, and you don't have to spend 30 minutes to do it. And
Sure.
it can still be enjoyable. Because I think for a lot of people, that's kind of a fear and a turnoff to it. It's like, I'm too busy for this. You're really not. I shaved with a double-edged razor and shaving soap and a brush when I was in the army.
Right.
So I promise if I can do it at, warrant officer candidate school where I've got 7 minutes from the time
No
that I'm
kidding.
getting out of my bunk to be shaved in my PTs and downstairs in formation, I promise you can add it to your morning routine and get a good shave out of it.
That's the best advertisement for it that you can ask for. Of course, that's sort of you can't argue that in any case. I'm
Yeah.
curious though, being Canadian and just not knowing what exactly is a warrant officer, if I may.
Um, so warrant officer is a technical expert in your field. You're not like a commanding officer, like a captain, major, lieutenant colonel, whatever.
Okay.
Warrant, and you're not enlisted. You have a commission, but you stay in your field. So for me, my field was human intelligence. So
Oh,
I,
interesting.
I started enlisted and then became a warrant officer because while I wanted to become an officer, I had no interest in commanding troops. I loved my job in the Army and I wanted to continue in that field.
Yeah,
So I became a warrant officer, which is you're the technical expert in your field for your unit.
got it. Thanks for the explanation. Interesting. So that was all by choice, and army as a career was by choice, I guess.
Yes,
Indeed.
it's sort of. I never intended to go in the Army because my dad did, and I told him there was two things I would never do: is be a farmer and a soldier, and now I've been both. But
Funny how life works out, right?
yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Um, to you, how has the shaving community changed in your time that you've been involved in it? Because it's been a while.
Um, I honestly don't know that it has. I mean,
Okay.
it's still driven by the hobbyists
Yeah,
who do collect, who see this as, you know, yeah, you can spend a ton of money on soaps and razors, but compared to a lot of other hobbies, it's really not as expensive. I mean,
true.
you
Mind
look
you,
at guys
straight
in the
razors can get very expensive.
straight razors can get the high end razors can get kind of expensive,
Yeah,
but compared to high end pins or high end watches
true.
or things like that or
Cars
fashion
or yeah,
or leather goods, it's really not that bad, and it's one of those things that I like it as a hobby because I used to think it was lame to be concerned with how you look or how you smell, but the older I get, the more I'm like, no, I mean, it gives me it gives me confidence to go out,
absolutely.
groomed and
Yeah,
smelling nice. And I think a lot of people have realized that earlier than life than I did, that there's nothing wrong with a man being concerned with his appearance and how he smells and how he presents himself to people.
absolutely. Absolutely. And it's there seems to be, I mean, it's been a while now, but you see these big brands making men products now, like L'Oreal Men. So it's really it's a big segment that's opened up over the last decade, say.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm all for
But
it. I
as
mean,
far, there's more people in wet shaving than there was when I started, of course.
sure.
We're way bigger than we were, even a decade ago, but the community itself has stayed the same. And, most of the people are quite nice. You'll find your jerks here and there, just like in any other community. But most of them are fairly kind, and they're willing to help people, and they get along. When you go to the meetups, people have a really good time,
Yeah,
and it's I don't know, it's a neat community full of just good people.
sure. I agree. Very kind, generous people in this community. Not without its rotten apples, though. It reminds me very recently on Reddit, there was you shone like a star, in my opinion. There was a little kerfuffle, we'll call it, with a very unhappy customer that was impatient about shipping. I don't know if
Yeah,
right. I unfortunately I'm
yeah,
sure you run into those things now and
yeah,
again.
and a lot of them are beyond your control. And
That's it.
and that one, we had a historic ice storm, and
Right.
he was I think in the Houston area, maybe, but northern Texas had a historic ice storm as well, and his package made it to Dallas and then disappeared for a few
Right.
weeks.
Well,
And
look.
it's one of those things where it's like, I get your frustration, but even if I wanted to get in a vehicle and go to the Dallas sort facility, which he didn't believe I'd ever shipped it. That was his
Oh,
contention
this is the
because
thing.
uh,
Yeah.
the United States Postal, I don't know if Canada Post is bad, but United States Postal Service, their tracking updates are awful.
Right.
They're they're notorious for, we're not going to update your package, and then all of a sudden on the last day you get 20 updates at
Sure.
once. And so it was a case where that had happened, and he, even though no matter how many times I told him, your package has been shipped. If it does end up lost after the ice storm, I will 100% replace it for you.
Absolutely.
It wasn't good enough. And sometimes, as a business owner, and I've learned this over the years, you have to just tell a customer that they're probably better off doing their business with someone else.
Right. That's it. I've had, I work as a graphic artist, so I've had to do the same over the years. Tell someone thank you very
Oh yeah,
much,
I
but
can imagine.
you can find someone else to work with, please. Please, I beg of you. Yeah. In any case, I mean, as we were just saying, the community seems so nice and generous that oftentimes people are just looking for the drama, especially the hardcore sort of members who are always online or always on Discord, etc. So that was, I must say, some good drama. So thank you. Unfortunately, it was, an incensed customer, which we don't like, but nonetheless, your responses were, it showed
I
me that
will
you have a
say
great sense of dark humor, which I appreciate.
it honestly, it almost brought a tear to my eye, though, that the fact that I really didn't even need to respond. I had so many people that had my back before
Of
I even saw
course,
the post.
for sure, for
It
sure.
was just like, I've obviously done something right, that this many people, a lot of which I have met in person, but most of which I haven't, feel that strongly about what we've done, that
Yeah.
they just told this guy to, hey, get lost.
That's it. No, that's a great testament to Sterling's success and yourself and Mandy as, wonderful heads of that company. I'll say.
Thank you.
So aside from, ecotourism or potential future ecotourism and visiting the farm and such, what's fun to do in Paris, Arkansas?
Let's see.
Having never been
Mount
myself.
Magazine. Mount Magazine is right next to us. It is
Okay.
the highest point between the Appalachians and the Rockies.
Oh,
It's
interesting.
not it's not anything massive, but it's a beautiful place. And once you get to the top of it, it's got some unbelievable views. But mostly around here, it's kind of about nature. And
Okay.
I mean, it's a very small town, about 3,500 people.
Oh, wow.
There's a really large Benedictine Catholic abbey just down the road from us. I mean, it just looks like a giant castle on a hill out in the middle of nowhere, and it's
Yeah.
absolutely stunning and worth anybody seeing. Um, there's a really cool old time arcade and on the square in
Okay.
town. Our our old courthouse. It's over 100 years, 20 something years old, if not older.
Wow.
Our town square where Stirling Soap is located is kind of a walk back in time.
Is it really? Okay.
It's a really neat place, and especially around Christmas, they do an absolutely amazing job with lighting it up and having carriage rides for free around the square
Nice.
and things like that. And then,
Wow.
like I said, with having Daddy-O's arcade right there, it's a walk back in time. Take your kids in there. That's one reason I was late getting on tonight because Mandy had to get the boys out of the house
Right.
and take them to the arcade because otherwise we wouldn't be able to have this conversation in a quiet place.
Fair enough. I appreciate it. Thanks. Thanks. Shout out to Mandy for, doing that so that we
Yeah.
could have a chat. Awesome. I'd ask you about other hobbies, but you seem like a man with next to no free time. Is it even worth asking?
I play video games with my boys
Okay.
when I can. I coach their baseball teams. Um, we like to go fishing, catch crawdads, things like that.
Nice.
Read. I love to read. Um, and really, my real hobby is anything that I can do with my kids and my wife.
Okay.
We've got a
Yeah.
we've got a really good family dynamic here, and you know working on the farm is fun for us. I
Sure.
mean, don't get me wrong. There's times where I hate it and I want to take every sheep and bury him in the pond. But uh, and then if the cows get out, yeah, there's screaming and anger and things like that. But for the most part, my hobby is just spending time with my family.
Sure. That's wonderful. And your children work on the farm or are
Yeah,
interested in the
I've
farm?
got three boys,
Yeah.
13, 7, and 5, which my
Oh, wow.
5-year-old turns 6 next week.
Nice.
But I mean, that was the goal of this is that's part of why we've started the roastery and why we've started the farm as an actual LLC at this point
Yeah.
is I would like, I mean, none of this is ever going to make us super wealthy or anything like that, but I would like to have something to hand over to each of them
For
should they want it.
sure. Yeah. That's great. That's a
Um,
wonderful succession plan.
and they all enjoy the farming stuff. We've got a handful of chickens. We've got, like I said, we got 60 sheep, about 20 cows, which I'd like to get that up closer to 40 or 50 cows.
Sure.
Um,
Wow.
then we've got all the fruit trees and the pecan trees and other nut trees that we've planted on the property. So I mean, um, we've got a lot going on here that if one of them wants to
Sounds
take
like
over
it.
at some point, it'll be a job in its own.
Sure. That's fantastic. How much land do you have?
We've got 106 acres right
Oh my
now.
goodness. That's a lot of land. Okay.
Luckily land has gotten way more expensive here, but luckily we were able to find this parcel for far less than market value, and we bought it right before land started shooting up in this area.
That's great.
Otherwise, I couldn't afford this land today.
Right. But that's wonderful that you have it and you can, you're using it and working it. Fantastic. Any if that's not enough, any future plans for Sterling or the Sterling Empire?
Um, we have a handful of Mandy and I when we go on a date night, which is rare. Our date nights consist of us taking a notepad the or our phones out and taking notes,
Yeah,
and we like to toss business ideas out to
that's
each
great.
other,
Sure.
or or we'll discuss new things that we can do for the soap or the coffee or things like that. So I mean, we have a handful of other things that we've talked about doing. A brewery um,
Wow.
along with the agritourism. We've talked about doing a farm to table grocery store
Right.
similar to what you would have in a small town
Sure.
long time ago with locally grown and raised products.
Okay.
Um, but that's both of those are they're still in the concept phase at this point because we just have too many other things going on.
Right. But from someone who said they ordered soap making equipment from the airport coming home from their honeymoon. Sounds like, if anyone can get it done, it's you. So looking forward to the next step or the next phase of, or I should say next offering from Sterling. Always exciting to
I'm
see.
hoping we can make it a reality.
Yeah. Uh, Ever consider Sterling North? Because I'm definitely your guy.
Sterling North, you
Sterling
want to
North.
manufacture with us?
In Canada, why not? Lots of space, cheaper materials, a French twist, maybe. I don't know.
It's not a terrible idea.
There you go.
The problem is that right now it's hard getting things get shipped across.
Oh, right
Carm at
now.
top of the
Yeah.
chain. He's got a US based box, so we'll ship him a big order, and he'll drive across the border, pick it
Pick
up,
it
and
up.
drive it back
Sure.
because it's easier and less expensive that way than us shipping it direct. And I can't ship him the aftershaves.
Right.
That's the big thing. He has to drive those across.
Interesting. Yeah. And even, there's tariffs and a bit of a trade war going on as well right now. So,
Unfortunately, yeah.
yeah, not the best time, but, if ever, just planting that seed.
Okay.
That's it. And beyond that, I look forward to you'll be at Maggard's this year again, the Maggard meet.
We will be at Maggard's. Yes, we were
Excellent.
we were kind of unsure if we were going to be able to make it, but we've got our tickets, we've got our flights and our hotel, so we'll be there.
Fantastic. I'm going to do the drive again. I was there 2 years ago when we first met. I was the guy giving out the meat hats.
I've still got
This
my
one,
meat
yeah.
hat.
Excellent. I'll bring some more. That was a failed business opportunity here up here in Montreal, but fun to give away and perfectly fitting for, the wet shaving crowd at a meetup. So here's to giving you another meat hat soon at the Maggard's meet. And, beyond that, I want to say thank you for taking the time to chat with me today. It was all very
Oh,
interesting.
thank you for having me. I greatly appreciate it. And I know you're joking about the five listeners and whatnot, but I'm grateful for you having me on because truthfully, you know, you're not charging me a dime for this. This is free publicity for me. So I'm
Sure.
grateful for what you do.
Well, I love your product. I love the business that you've built. Now knowing it, I love your story. So it's absolutely my pleasure. And the whole point of this podcast is to chat with interesting people that I met along the way in this wild wet shaving world of ours. So there you go. It's all from a good place.
Fantastic.
And I'll just say one more time, thanks to the listeners for listening, as always, those 5 listeners. Okay, maybe 10. Fine, 10. And thank you again to you, Rod. It's been a real pleasure chatting with you today.
Thank you so much, Ray. I really appreciate it.
All right. And we'll see you again next episode to my wonderful listeners.